will carry us a long way into 2022 with cherishable memories. So without wasting much of your time, let me welcome all of you on behalf of BGM Foundation and Palakkad Tamil Araichi Mayam, on behalf of Professor K. Rajaram, who's been the mentor, philosopher, guide for this program. So I invite all of you to have a fantastic evening with us. Exactly 45 minutes will be Professor GL's talk. And after that, we'll have a few words from Professor Rajaram before we close. And next month, on the same date, 30th Sunday, we have yet another interesting speaker, this time in Tamil. So, நமது சிந்தனை கவிஞர் கவிதாசன் அவர்கள் வந்து ஒரு சமூக சிந்தனை நலத்தோடு கூடிய ஒரு தலைப்பிலே வருகின்ற 30 ஜனவரி ஞாயிற்றுக்கிழமை காலை பேச இருக்கின்றார்கள். சோ அந்த நேரமும் நாங்கள் உங்களுடன் பகிர்ந்து கொள்ள இருக்கின்றோம். சோ உங்கள் அனைவரையும் இந்த நிகழ்ச்சிக்கு வரவேற்பதில் நான் பெருமை அடைகின்றேன். I have a great pleasure in introducing my teacher and a teacher par excellence, Professor Dr. G. Lakshmipathy. Professor Dr. G. Lakshmipathy, MD, FRCP, FCCP, FICP, is a specialist in internal medicine and is consulting in consulting practice at Coimbatore since 50 years. And he has been an undergraduate, postgraduate teacher in general medicine for more than 30 years at Coimbatore Medical College, PSG IMS, and multi-speciality hospitals in the city. He retired as a professor of medicine. He was the president of the Indian Medical Association, Association of Physicians of India at Coimbatore. He has participated in a great number of medical meetings and conferences across the country, one of the most sought after speakers in this country. As a popular speaker, he has addressed over 350 meetings on medical and non-medical subjects in India and abroad. I'm sure he has lost count. I'm sure it should be at least more than 1,000, because at least to my knowledge, 350, there should be much more than that. And he has received innumerable awards for excellence in teaching, professional eminence, and contributions to humor, and is a recipient of the prestigious Humanitarian Service Award from the American Chest Association. He was awarded Vaidya Bhushan Award for the medical services at Coimbatore. He is the author of 2 medical textbooks on outpatient management, used widely by doctors across the country. He is a co-author of a book on hazards of tobacco use, which is published by the prestigious American Chest Association. What makes Dr. GL a little unusual is that he is very atypically, for a doctor, addicted to humor. And his writings and talks have a generous mix of it. Anytime that Dr. GL comes on the stage at the podium, immediately people will start giggling and laughing, because his mere presence brings so much of happiness. I'm sure the happiness hormones are secreted in all human beings just by the sight. He says that medicine is his master and humor is his mistress. He calls medicine, I'm sure madam is not sitting next to you, sir. So he calls medicine as master because doctoring in his life's calling and what has sustained and supported him through a long life. And he dubs humor his mistress because, as anyone here with a mistress knows, he says, has a deep love for it, has nurtured it for his private pleasure, and has proudly indulged in it in public to say that humor is his mistress, to provoke smiles all around. He has authored 6 books on medical and allied humor, and the 7th one is in production. He's sitting in the US, not wasting his time, not enjoying US, but he's writing another book on humor. He is the founder and president of the nationally known Coimbatore Humor Society that all Coimbatorians would ever remember and cherish, because sometimes we have a 2 days humor mela happening here annually that has been functioning successfully for 30 years. And because of COVID, it has really taken a toll on people. But I'm sure with the web links and live transmission that is possible across the globe today, I'm sure to have rejoin this Humor Society meetings. And I was discussing with some of his humorous friends in Coimbatore. And what we are planning is the February meeting of Palakkad Tamil Araichi Mayam will be done in association with the Humor Society of Coimbatore, which is the brainchild of Dr. GL. So the next month, that is the February meeting, will be conducted totally organized by them for yet another humor session. Without wasting much of your time, I deem it a great pleasure and honor to welcome my teacher, Professor Dr. G. Lakshmipati, to take the stage and get us all, enlightened with humor. Thank you.
Chairman of the PGM Hospital and my very distinguished colleague, Dr. Mohan Prasad, Director of Palakkad Tamil Research Center, Professor Rajaram, and my good friend, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. A very good evening to all of you. Just as you heard now from Mohan, this is morning 9:30 at Greensboro in North Carolina, where I am staying with my daughter. And when I came last time, 3 years ago, I wouldn't have dreamt for a minute that the time is going to come on my next visit that I'll be sitting back in Greensboro in my own cozy bedroom to address all my friends and colleagues and association members across 9,000 miles and see them and talk to them. This is absolutely fantastic. I never would have dreamt of such a thing happening. And the one thing we have to remember when we do this is that COVID-19 is responsible for it. Once COVID-19 came in as a pandemic, and then they had to insist that people should quarantine at home, away from the rest of the humanity. And then this made it a big problem for people who run the world, because everybody is stuck to their home, stay-at-home restrictions. And so you have to carry on with your schools, with your colleges, with your offices, with your international setup, with your businesses. And all this was possible only because the fact that communication is re-established. Though this technology as such has been 9 years since making, recently they all jumped into it and perfected it so that you are able to address people across the world. And so something nice has come out of COVID-19. And my talk today has a similar foundation, because the subject for my talk today is far more dangerous, far more frightening than any pandemic, whether you talk about Spanish flu or Hong Kong influenza, whatever, or the Great Plague, because this one spreads faster than Omicron. It involves every human being on this planet with 100% mortality. And you find there's anything you can do about it at all. Of course, I am referring to old age. Old age is something the most frightening of all the pandemics. It's not a permanent pandemic, because we are all afraid of old age. And before I talk on to that, may I first thank Dr. Mohan Prasad for this wonderful, wonderful, effusive introduction he gave me. And that's why when I read in the invitation that Mohan is going to give my introduction, I was very happy, because he's my former student, and naturally he will say nice things about me. And the fact that I am also going to be present, I don't know what he says when I'm not there, but I am going to be present, then he's going to be even more nice than usual. And so it was nice that he gave such a great praise. And I'm glad my wife is here with me. So at least now she knows what kind of a man she is married to. And, and I am very proud that to have been his teacher, because, to have been Mohan's teacher, because over the years, I have happily watched him grow to be one of the top gastroenterologists in India, as well as with a lot of international recognition. He's a fine clinician, great teacher, and much loved by his students. He's a great medical technology. He excels in that. And he is a Tamil lover. So he, like me, the Telugu is our mother tongue, but he loves Tamil to the extent he's a poet. He writes Tamil poetry. Can you imagine? he has written a romantic poem about the liver, which I think is the first man to do that. He's a hepatologist. That is his subspecialty. He wrote a romantic poem about the liver, to my great surprise. And I was thinking to myself that it is so romantic. Maybe the Kalliran will melt down and become Manniran. If you will permit me to invent a bit in Tamil. And, hepatology. And he used to sing also. I don't know whether he now sings outside the bathroom. But even in those days, he used to sing only romantic songs. But he remains a romantic figure. Gastroenterologists are generally like that because you're not cardiologists, for the reason that the way to a man's heart is through the stomach. And so naturally, they make better romantics than others. And my thanks also to my good friend, Professor Rajaram. He came in as a patient. I came to know him as a patient, and his love, his scholarship in Tamil, everybody knows about that. And the only thing is, he's such an affable, friendly, intellectual person that he knows all his doctors become his friends in course of time. And he's doing a great job with this association he started. I'm sure it has got a great, great future ahead. And now, I'm speaking on the Zoom format. This is, I find, a formidable task. Not only is it because the technology involved and all these digital advancements send me into a digital rage. These are all the digits, I get into rage because I can't understand many things that are going on. I got my good wife. Fortunately, she's excellent technical abilities. She arranges the whole thing for me. And the problem with this kind of Zoom thing is that I find all the listeners are immobilized, they are muted and made self-conscious and frozen in 2 dimensions. There is no third dimension, frozen in 2 dimensions. And one who wants to make light-hearted speeches, wants to have a live audience, making some noises, giggling somewhere, making some comments, maybe some adverse comments, and making some jokes in the audience. Nothing at all. Here it's almost like I'm giving a eulogy in a remembrance meeting. Complete silence all around me. And this is a little unnerving, but I am getting slowly I am getting. So what I also actually, all of you in small squares, it feels sometimes like I am talking to a photo album. This is very weird, as you will appreciate. In my talk today, I'm going to talk about how to be happy in old age, because we all agree, and that to be old is to be basically fundamentally miserable. And I can talk not only as a specialist in geriatric medicine, I can also talk as an old man myself. I'm in my mid-80s. And so whenever my patients complain, this and that, I understand. I know what's happening. I quite understand because I am in a similar bracket. And so when we get old, with the original 100% ectoplasm, we now only have about 60% of the original ectoplasm. Most of our faculties sort of diminish with age. The brain becomes a little duller, and there are so many desires that remain unfulfilled. But the desires are still there. That's how Shankara, the famous Shankara, Adi Shankara put it in his Bhajagovindam. Angam phalitam mundam dasana vihinam jatam tundam vruddho yati grihitva dandam tatapi na munchat asha pindam. The man has become old. His body has withered. He is shrunk. The head is as bald as a hubcap. He's toothless gums. He has no teeth, nothing. He's hobbling about in a crutch. But still, the man is full of desires. Tatapi na munchat. Even then, he does not abandon his desires. And so that is the problem with old age. In my talk, I will discuss old age and how to be happy under 3 headings, because you must get a background about the aging world. I will tell you something about the aging world. There are more people over the age of 60 today on earth than you add up all the 60-year-olds who have lived from the time man came down from the trees. This one is in excess of that. There are more people living over the age of 60 today than ever lived on the earth. This is formidable. This is something stunning. And the second thing, there are the problems in the age that people face in the communities, especially ageism, the prejudice against aged people. Like you have feminism, You have other kinds of isms, casteism, racism, ageism, hatred against people for no particular reason. That is widely prevalent. And third, I will talk about the method to tackle these problems. Lastly, how old age can actually be a period of joy, period of creativity, period of peace, provided you tackle these problems. Take care of your health. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Take care of your health. Have the right attitude to the changes that are occurring in your body. Learn to enjoy the privileges and the community that of which we belong gives us automatically for the simple reason they're old. About aging itself, as I told you, there are more people at the age of 60 now than any time on this earth. And how I'll tell you how this has come to pass. I will tell you how this has come to pass in this world. And also you find that because of this, because there are too many old people and they are living to be very old, it has become a major problem. And so I remember when I was at school, a meeting was addressed at school by one famous Tamil orator, Chinna Namal. He used to be very, very funny speaker, and he absolutely flows out with humor. And this man talked about Pathila Padapadapu, talking about the aging of man. Pathila Padapadapu, Irvadala Irmapu, Muppudala Muruk, Napadala Natam, Ambadala Atam, Arvadala Yekam, Eduvadala Tukam. He said, Pathila Padapadapu, Irvala the Irmapu, Muppudala Murk, Napadala Natam, Ambadala Atam, Arvadala Yekam, Eduvadala Tukam. This is all true. Because you grow up with a child who's hyperactive, then you get muruk, you get arrogance, and then natam at 40. That's why you feel people get into adultery and all this, and they get into 40. They are getting a little less confident about their own abilities. And then ambadal atam, all this, you know. What has happened today? But just the first four of them remain the same. Pattala padapadapu, irvadala irmapu, muppadala murku, napadala natam. Ambadala angioplasty, arvadala arthroplasty, எழுபதுல urethroplasty, 80 chemotherapy, 90 chemotherapy, 80 chemotherapy, you get cancer, something that needs attention. 90 chemotherapy, that means therapy in the crematorium, and it's most modern crematorium. It has got 3 power generators, so that in case of power failure, still you will get completely turned into ash. And so there it is. And why has this happened? Doctors would like to think, oh, these people are going to be 90, 80, because our medicines, our surgical skills, our that skill. It is only partially true. It has happened because humanity has put science to effect, right into effect, and it has improved every facet of human living. And you find science has made it so much easier with agriculture, with transportation, with travel, with cooking, with sanitation, with health surroundings, with man is better nourishment. Dietetic science has grown up. He enjoys better quality of life at home as well as work, enjoys greater leisure, widens his intellectual horizons, and gets better protected. It's going to be a cyclone, there's going to be fire, and there is going to be a flood. Everything is advanced, so that it's not like before. 400 sort of famines we had in India in 400 years. Every year there'll be famines all over India. And so all this is prevented now because of distribution of food. And of course, medicine, the great changes that have happened in medicine. And so this is what we have to thank for getting so many old people amassed up. And so the problem for the old is there are too many old people. Then second is ageism. Ageism is very widely prevalent. They hate old people for no reason, no fault of their own. Hate in the sense that is prejudiced against old people. A stereotype of the ageism person, he has got negative. He tells you that old people cannot do so many things. He is incapable of clear thinking. He cannot learn new things. He cannot remember things. He is incapable of holding responsible jobs. And she is socially a drag, keeps attending to himself. All these older adults are in poor health. They need support. They need support when they're walking. They cannot see. They cannot hear properly. All this they say, the younger people, for the reason that they do not want these old people should continue to get their share of their jobs and employments and enjoyments and all that kind of thing. So this is a prejudice well accepted all over the world. And so you can see this when somebody, let me say, one grandmother is 75 years old, she has fractured her leg and she's lying in the hospital. And some people will come and say, in a party, it's assumed that this woman is deaf. And they'll say, and then they expect she's going to Mumbai. And she is actually as virile and as nice voice as KP Sundaraman. But they assume immediately that these people are little less capacity. But this is wrong. More people you find. And the second thing that the ageism is that most of the government's funds for healthcare goes to the aged people. That's a fact. 60-70% of any government's budget for health is absorbed by the older people. But that is something they have served humanity, community. They need something back. And so this is something that makes them feel worse about it. But the fact is that they are still, even when they get pretty old, they do not have all these things. They still have their creative ability. There is no doubt at all. They're still capable of activity. They're capable of nice thinking. They're still capable of contributing to the community. But all this is slowly covered up. And these are all myths about old age. That should not be there. So about the solutions, now I'll come one by one. Solution is five points. Tackle health issue properly, promptly, at the time it needs health care. Don't avoid it. 2, have a positive attitude towards aging. Get rid of wrong notions. 3, keep your mind active by engaging in creative activities and friendly activities. 4, enjoy the benefits that come to you automatically because you're old, because you're respected. So many benefits we enjoy, all that you enjoy. And last I'm going to give is most important. I'll tell you last at the end. Health issues, you must take care. Anatomy may be a matter of destiny, but pathology is something self-inflicted. Most of, because it is preventable and nothing is done at the right time by older people. You must start working on your old age when you're 50 years old, not when you're old. You must start when you're middle age. Because health involvement in old people can be terrible. Because what happens is every disease is chronic. They have chronic diseases. They have multiple diseases. And they have diseases that sort of project themselves or manifest differently. It's called chronicity, multiplicity, and duplicity. And so you must get periodic health checkup. People think, oh, doctors ask for this because they want to make some money. They want to do an MRI. They want to make some side money. That's a bullshit. You must make sure that you check yourself properly yearly. Get all your files, put a file in that, and so that the doctor knows that you've got this problem and proceeds on further. Check for cancer. People think that, oh, if you look for cancer, I may have cancer. By telling yourself that you may have cancer, it's not part of treatment. You may have cancer. You better get at it because if it's caught early, you're going to probably survive because it'll be cured. Second, you'll have less symptoms. There's no question at all. So never mind, face cancer head first and get it done. And old people should look into particularly some diseases, prostate, for example. You get prostate enlargement very easily, and it happens as a function of age. And so once you are very proud, you had your sprinkler system of which you are very proud when you are young. Sprinkler system has suddenly changed into drip irrigation. Then you must be careful. When you find your urine is dripping, think of the prostate. It could be ordinary prostate, it could be a malignancy. Women should do for mammoplasty every year. I know mammoplasty is very painful because patients tell me, I would rather have cancer than have mammoplasty. That used to be the case, very painful. But then nowadays they've got mammograms which are so nicely done, it's no more a pain. Second most important thing, please don't fall. I tell all my old patients, please, go down. Because everybody thinks that only the lady in the other house, the man in the other house is going to fall. I will not fall, but you will fall. This is unfortunate. Always walk as if you may fall. Use a walking stick. Use a walker if necessary. Some women tell me, பார்த்தா அது வச்சுட்டு நடந்தா ரொம்ப வயசான மாதிரி இருக்குது. My dear lady, I tell them, if the patient man is looking at the walking stick and not at you, that means the walking stick is more attractive. And so don't be silly. Don't do that. And please do that. And walk only with a walker, and always put your mats in the bathroom so that you are not going to skid. And always think this is a possibility. When you walk in the night somewhere, walk slowly. Nobody at the age of 70 is running in a demand so that he has to meet a demand by running. So that's not necessary. And so all this you remember. Don't fall. Concentrate on preventive aspects for your health. And second thing is think positive about aging. About 70, first of all, when I attain for 70, I find I have got what they call, the staying power. I am older than 70% of humanity. And so that I have already, God wants me to stay on perhaps, and that's why I'm here still around 70. And by the time I'm 80, there's a very good chance some of the people I hated are all gone. Most of them are dead. The nasty boss I had, the man who was competing with my job and was sort of resorting to all kinds of ruses, he's probably gone. So this may be very nefarious kind of joy, but still it remains back in our minds. Maybe you can't change the world. You have lived to be 80. Maybe you have not done something spectacular. Maybe people are not looking up to you. Doesn't matter. For a small number of people, you are the world. Your wife, your children, your husband, your neighbors, your close friends. For you, you are the world. You are part of their world. And so that's good enough. And so if all of us contribute a little to our own limited circle, that's going to matter a great deal. And don't think that because you are older and your creativity is less, you are not able to retain things. It does happen. That's blunting of all this. But there are tricks to get rid of this also. Even when you're 80, it is possible that you will be called across continents to give a talk. Thank you very much. Like myself. This can happen. So have confidence that you are capable of doing things, and you should do things. And you find it pays. Why? Because you get all your right hormones secreted. You have cut down your stress hormones, and you find that adds to your zest, not only mentally, but also physically. And keep your mind active, even if you are very busy. You were very busy at one stage, and I tell people, you find அந்த வழக்கம் இல்லை டாக்டர், நீங்கள் நிறைய பேர் படிச்சுட்டே இருக்காங்க, எனக்கு அந்த வழக்கமே கிடையாது, இதெல்லாம் ரொம்ப கஷ்டம், இப்போ ஆரம்பிக்கிறது கஷ்டமா இருக்கு. I said, don't be a fool. Start. You got still a brain, and you got books available. Read, please read. Because my father used to say, if you read, you are going to have several lives, not one life. Because you can live with Shakespeare, you can go live with Charles Dickens, you can live with P.G. Wodehouse. At the same time, you can give through history. You read about Louis Pasteur, you read about the times of Louis Pasteur, you read about the Great Plague. You know what happened when there's a Great Plague and they carried bodies on carts across the roads. So you live different lives when you're doing this, and you are sharing your thoughts with Plato, with Shankara, with Aristotle, with H.G. Wells, all these people to share. And so please read. Start reading now, doesn't matter. And second thing about TV, this is not my advice personally. It's an advice that has been given by psychologists, psychiatrists. Please watch so that your brain is stimulated. Watch programs that stimulates your brain. Maybe you should watch National Geography. Maybe you will know more about the mating habits of hippopotamus. Doesn't matter. It's worth watching. Watch something like biographies. Watch something in which takes you on Geographic Channel or travel channels. All this, you do all that. Don't watch, please, for heaven's sake, TV serials. One husband was telling me, sir, சந்தோஷமா தான் இருக்கா சாயந்தரம் வரைக்கும், இந்த சீரியல்ல போய் பாப்பா, அதுல ஏதோ சண்டை நடக்கும், எம்மையில செல்லுன்னு விழறா. It's true. It's true. Because it's emotional. It unnecessarily eats into your emotion. What they try to show is mostly misery. Have you ever seen a TV serial where somebody is joking? Where somebody is sitting in the hall having a little joke, fun, nothing. It's always about brother-in-law murdering sister-in-law. This kind of thing going on all the time. Murder, rape, court case, sons fight. This is all TV serials about, because that's how they can keep this alive. And so that influences your emotion. You please make sure that it should not be done. And so this is about your mind activity. Be friendly. When you get old, you get wrinkles, all the skin becomes shallow, and your teeth fall, so your cheek gets inside. So God has made it. When you get older, you look serious. Most old people, this is their natural serious. So try and smile. If you smile, you find smile takes only 6 muscles, frown takes about 26 muscles. And so you keep smiling. If you smile all the time for smallest things, just keep a smiling countenance. You find people, somebody looking at you when wanting to talk to you or something, are going that way, they think you are friendly because smile. And this is true. But whenever there's in a group, there's somebody laughing, you go and sit in the group where everybody is laughing because you want to get some joy out of it. So smile, frown, these are all frown. You should never frown. Be smile. And so you find people get attracted to you. Younger people get attracted to you if you smile and joke. You joke bravely. You need not be a classical humorist. Just joke bravely. You find people will laugh because you're an old man. You're trying to tell a joke and they will laugh because of old age. And that's okay. Third thing is pay compliments. You find some child has got 98 in mathematics. Pat the child. Tell people, younger people, some people will think I'm sitting on some high pedestal, and to satisfy my dear fellow, you must become Nobel Prize laureate. Nah, nonsense. Give compliments. What is lost? But be genuine. Don't compliment him for something he has not achieved. Give compliments. And you find this is one of the best ways of getting to know younger people. Younger people prevent you from getting lonely. Don't go on telling your anecdotes and all that to older people because they dub you immediately. They get ageism. They tell you, "Oh, boring." No, for that reason, be friendly is very important. Enjoy nostalgia. We old people, they sit back, look at an old photograph album and enjoy looking at my mother who's no more, my uncle, my great friend when I was young, how he bowled fast in cricket match and all that. These stimulate me. They make me feel that now I may be old, I may not be very helpful to society, maybe I am a discard, I am in the waste paper basket. Suddenly you find when you have nostalgia, you become younger again because you think of the times when you were somebody, you were important, you were loved, and you were liked. And so this is something that nostalgia gives you. And so past things, the beautiful thing about memory is when you think of the old things, memory is a sieve, it's a filter. It filters away all the old thoughts, all the bad thoughts about the funeral, about the 2 months you wept after somebody very dear to you died. All this it filters away. You remember only the nicer things, only the things that gave you joy, gave you euphoria. And so when you think of older things, you generally get to think of nicer things. And one of the best things is open your album. One of the things you can do is get all your old photographs, create an album. You will find that's a beautiful 1 month spent doing this, and you will feel younger at this. And so don't let people say, when you don't tell the same thing to the same people. And that's unfair, because this can be very boring, and that is something you should not do. And lastly, one more thing I want to tell you, write your autobiography. Very surprising. Maybe you are not somebody. Nobody is going to read your autobiography. Nobody is going to publish it. You publish it yourself. Just sit back and write your autobiography. It gives you the old nice thoughts. You think of the in-depth of people you knew that you thought that your memory has lost. It all will come back to you. And autobiography is something, just print 100 copies. And whenever somebody comes home, give it to them. So now, என்னை பத்தி ஒரு புத்தகம் எழுதியிருக்கேன், என்னோட பேக்ரவுண்ட் எல்லாம் அதை படிங்க, உங்களுக்கு டைம் இருக்குமோ தெரியாது. And don't ask him next time he comes, படிச்சேளா? No, he has not read. He has not read. He has got other things to do. Don't ask him. Suppose he tells you he read and he found it nice, that's good. That's all. Yeah, unless he tells you, you can take it, he has not read. Otherwise, he'll bluff. And when you talk about nostalgia, let me tell you, don't say things you didn't do. Now, Ranji Trophy and something. Quite often when you get old, your memories begin to take on a funny shape. They confuse them with the aspirations you had at the time. And so don't say stupidly that you are in the second waiting list for Nobel Prize. And all this, they find out in no time. They avoid you in future. Just tell the truth. Because if you don't tell the truth, next time you would have forgotten you are told that and tell a lie. And so people will avoid you. Don't let anybody avoid you for one reason, that you are a bore and that you are very all the time frowning and you never give a compliment and all that. So make sure you don't do all that. Write your autobiography. And it was beautifully said by Winston Churchill. He said, When you start an autobiography, it's a toy and an amusement. You write for some time and then leave it like that. I am telling from experience, I've written 9 books so far. And so you buy it or not, I am a happy man. And then it becomes an amusement. You want to go and dab in it. And then it becomes a mistress. Desires, keen on your time, insist on your time. You must go and see her and say, hello, how are you? And that is the autobiography. And then it becomes a master. You're 75% over. You can't let it be like that. And now you are obeying it. You have to go and finish it somehow. And it becomes a tyrant lastly. You got only look at it again and make some correction. Now it's a tyrant. It holds you. You don't do anything else. You go and finish it. Then throw it at the publisher. Order 100 books, at least 100 books, so that you will give it to your people, so that they know that you lived. Some people who are going to love it are your children, your grandchildren. Your grandchild, he may be a prodigy. You sit back one day and think, Tata eppadi irundar paakalam. And they will do that, I can assure you. And then beautiful things that accrue to you automatically. How am I doing for time, Mohan?
Sir, absolutely, sir. No problem. It's a pleasure. You continue,
Right.
sir.
Right, okay. And so these beautiful things that you get automatically, you need not do anything about it. These are the advantages, merits of old age. One, every day is a holiday. See, you don't have to do anything. When you are very busy, you are as busy as morning, night, patient, procedures, these classes, lectures, and international calls, and so on and so forth. Then I'm sure he tells himself, when am I going to retire? Am I right, Mohan? You think, am I right? You think that am I
With
going to
all that
retire?
only, I have lost so much hair, sir.
Yeah. Quite so. And so you find that you are thinking of a holiday. But today, now I'm retired. Every day is a holiday, my friends. I can get up at 8 o'clock. I can get up at 9 o'clock. I can have my breakfast at 10 o'clock. And I can have a nice meal. Bob Hope, the famous American comedian, was asked. He lived to 101. And that man died. And so he was asked when he was 90. As you all know, he was a friend of 7 presidents of America. And he was an international figure, loved by Americans. And they asked him, Bob, how do you spend your days nowadays? Oh, no problem at all. I get about 8 o'clock and then have a leisurely cleaning of my body and all that. And then I go have a leisurely breakfast at 9:30. And then I browse the newspapers, 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock, it is time for my nap. He says, I have a morning nap. He says, yes, he sleeps only for about 4 hours a time. Morning nap, afternoon nap, night nap. At 9 o'clock, 4 o'clock, he says, sometimes I get up. Doesn't matter. There's nothing to do. I can sleep till 10 o'clock again. So I do something and go back to sleep. You see? So that is how it is. So you can enjoy yourself because every day is a holiday and there is no pressure on you. You can do everything slowly. Second is, you are forgiven for poor memory. Take advantage of your memory. Suppose somebody invites me because his child's birthday or something. Tata, and all that. Ayyo, marande poite ba. I don't want to go to this. I don't want to go to this birthday because I find it's nuisance. And they'll take me in. I have to dress up for that, put angavasana and all that, and go and think. Everybody will come and so and so and all that. Namaskar. And then people falling at your feet. Waste of time. And so I say, marande poite ba. They won't mind. They may not have invited you really sincerely. They wanted to invite you. They wanted you to know you're invited, and you can escape. Say, it's a very good joke. And memory, sometimes is very nice also. I have a friend around my age, and one day I went to his house, and this fellow is saying, "Parma, Doctor Kannu, Doctor Vandarkar, coffee konda konjam," and so that. And then after saying, "Chamatiliani, the kodwa," and all that kind of thing. And I said, "Enna pa idu? Nee appala adeye கூப்பிடுவேன். இவ்வளவு சமத்தா சமத்துன்னு கூப்பிடுறேன், டார்லிங் கூப்பிடுறேன், என்னது கேட்டு. Then he says, பேரே மறந்து போச்சுப்பா, அதனால நான் உங்கள்கிட்ட எழுதி வச்சிருக்கேன்." So at the time I came, this fellow has forgotten his wife's name. So this way.
Sir, now I understand. Your iPad says Nama's iPad. I think Nama's iPad. Nagalakshmi, madam, you call us Nama, no? So I think மறக்காம இருக்கிறதுக்காக அவங்க ஐபேட் யூஸ் பண்றீங்கன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். It comes as an icon here.
Yes. There she's saying, you're quite right. You're quite right. And then other advantage, concession in tax. Discount wherever you go. You want to go to by train, they'll give you the lower berth. Suppose they have not given the lower berth because it was all occupied. You go and sit there. You just look terrible and wait. I watch. Sometimes I go some bloody thing like 3-tier AC or something. And so I get a lower, second 2-tier AC, and then some lower berth. I wait for the man to come. I go to the notice board, see what his age is. And I wait. 1,000 I told him, the parba. And I why such? Will you give me the lower berth? They would not. I have never met anybody who said no. You can ask some of the younger people will give. Even sometimes, even ladies have told me, Tata, you see, so the concession that comes beautifully on account of your being old. So they give you reservation when you're old. And when you go to wheelchair, when you go to the airport, you can be the first to get your pass, all these pass, because I am in a wheelchair. But it is abused so much by Indians, I am sorry to say. Sometimes in the airport, I am in a wheelchair, and I find somebody from Ramnagar who has been running in race course, jumping and all that kind of thing with his wife. Both of them are in wheelchair now. I mean, I know they're absolutely fit. They abuse it so much. Now, British Airways knew that their old colonials have now started going wheelchair across the aerodrome. So they'll go to the wheelchair, sit in some shopping mall and do everything, come back and sit. So that he'll come and push you again and give him $5 or something. That's okay. But they come to West Street. Last time I went, I found they took us all by wheelchair to some unknown place in our airport, put them there for 45 minutes, no shopping center, nothing. So it was terrible. And so this is something you can use to your advantage. And then automatic politeness, when you're old, you find people are polite to you. They'll give you respect. And I find it happens even with the railway porters and all that. And and all that kind of thing. Because they are old, they don't abuse you. And nobody will shout at you on the road. Suppose you hit against somebody, your luggage, or you drove a car and knock somebody, you find he won't shout at you because he's afraid if he shouts, you may get heart attack. He's afraid that, isn't it? I mean, this worries him. Maybe that he will get a heart attack. So let us be careful to do this. And then you can avoid meetings, felicitating meetings. Somebody said, you are very, all humble. And so he has changed the world, and all. You have to listen to one after the other people. And this is something I have made a vow in my life. Avoid felicitating meetings, because this, even my own felicitation, is most boring. And so you can avoid making meetings like that. Or, as I told you, children's birthday, all this kind of thing. And then you find political meetings you can avoid. You can avoid minor functions now. And then you can wear whatever you want, freedom in dress. And I sometimes go and meet a friend and I can tell the menu from looking at his front. Little bit of sambar, avial, and all this is all there. But he doesn't mind, I don't mind. It's all, you're old, doesn't matter at all. Leave it at that. I can sing nowadays. I used to sing fairly well in those days. Nowadays, they come and ask me, Devam Tanda Veedu, and all that. If I sing well, it's okay. If I sing badly, they don't say anything. Nalla parrayala tata. That's good. And when you go to a plane, suppose there's a hostage situation, you would be first to be released. Because once in a while you go there and say, go to toilet, and it will disturb his concentration. You see, old people, pregnant people, women, old people, they'll all be released first. So very safe in a hostage situation, and there's no problem at all. And you can talk nonsense sometimes, as I'm doing probably now, and they don't mind. They say, sometimes I pace, and so on. And some people will come and tell me, Ramakrishna has either lunch Madras, masala dosha, Annapurna is nothing. Which is absurd. I have eaten Ramakrishna. It used to be good for those days. Annapurna, they give you 17 side dishes and it stretches across the table. But I don't argue with him. That's what he will say. He's fixed in his mind and he can only taken out by neurosurgery. So don't argue. Nobody argue. And so you see, some things can go. And idiosyncrasy they tolerate. And then the last thing I want to tell you is that's the greatest advice. Don't advise people. Don't think. Because you're old, you're clever. Experience is not wisdom. Experience is part of wisdom. Every old person will give advice whenever he thinks something is going wrong. Don't advise. Please don't advise unless they ask you. Even if they ask you, you tell them that what is the advice you want. And suppose he tells you what you want, give advice. That's all. Because old man giving an advice and changing his life is not going to happen. Otherwise, unnecessarily, we keep on giving advice. And all that kind of stuff. And so they resist you hereafter. They won't come at all. So stop giving advice. And so my final words to you is, we are all old. We are all in the front row of a drama. The drama is going on in front of you. And the hero is coming. There's a story developing in front of you. Don't alter the script. Just watch, applaud nicely. And don't alter the script. Don't change the players. Don't tell them this is how they should act. Don't sort of shout some criticism. Just watch, enjoy. You find you will be given a front row seat. Just watch the drama is going on. And if something is really bad happening, then probably you should have to pull them up. Mostly nothing like that happens. Nothing that you are going to change is going to happen. And so, and so pat them in the back when the drama is finished. And you will find they will always invite you for the post-drama dinner. Go and have your tutti frutti and enjoy yourself. So thanks you for giving me this opportunity. I enjoy talking to you as much as I hope you enjoyed listening to me. And I wish you all a glorious, glorious new year. Have a great COVID-free, laughter-filled year for you. Thank you.
Sir,
thank you very much.
What a fantastic talk, sir, on old age. And can we have Madam's comments also? I know she's your best critic all through your life. So, Madam, would you like to say a few words to all of us?
I must tell you, she's my technology. She has got tremendous digital activity brain. She arranges all this. She makes it up for me. Otherwise, I'll keep ringing you up every 5 minutes. And she's my local auditor. And she's versatile in so many ways. There's no question at all. But she won't accept all that. And she's Adalam. That's humility, which I wish her husband has a part of. Yes, you want to say something, comment about that? Make a comment.
Thank you, Mohan, for everything.
Madam,
he's only exactly 8 years old.
We are so blessed to listen to both of you across the globe, like 10,000 miles away, that you could talk to all of us. And, it's so nice to listen to you, sir. And I know that COVID, as you said, has in one way brought us all together.
Yes.
Otherwise, everybody has to travel distances to talk to each other. Today, sitting at home, it's so easy to talk to everyone. So
look at these meetings, how nicely they're organized, how we are able to keep communicating. Otherwise, we'll all go mad. Suppose you are living in a 2-room and sitting in the same room, we'll all go mad. Because thanks to this Zoom, you find it makes a hell of a lot of difference to all of us. Anyway, thanks for the opportunity. I enjoyed it. Thank you.
So nice, sir. And we have Dr. Ramani also with us. Good evening, sir.
Oh,
and,
good evening.
Yes, he's been listening to you right from the beginning, and all.
Yes, I saw him.
Thousands of people we have invited, sir, for this meeting. I'm sure we'll get back to you with the numbers soon. So with this, I again take pleasure in inviting everyone for the next month's program. This will be on 30th, the Sunday. This will be a Tamil talk by Sindhanai Kavidasan on very interesting oriented
great speaker
talk. So I'm sure people will enjoy it. So over to Professor K.A. Rajaram to propose the vote of thanks. Sir, please unmute. Sir, please unmute. Rajaram, sir, please unmute. You're muted. You're muted.
All right.
Thank you.
Am I audible?
Yes, now you are.
Dear Dr. Lakshmipati, my good friend, Dr. Mohan Prasad, and my good friends. We have a very fine evening now. New Year is fast approaching. The topic is quite interesting, how to be happy in old age. Wonderful topic. Dr. Lakshmipathy gave a talk in Vanaville Cultural Center founded by Vanaville K. Ravi, a leading Supreme Court advocate based in Chennai. He gave a very fascinating lecture. So I asked Dr. Mohan Prasad, why don't you invite Dr. Lakshmipathy to give a lecture? Who was very humorous, who mix humor with medicine, like of whom we cannot see nowadays. I find a physician of Dr. Lakshmipathy's caliber very difficult to find, come across. This Dr. Mohan Prasad is a workaholic person. V.G. Mohan Prasad, victorious, greatness, and is methodical. GL means great leader. He is a leader by himself. He was an active Rotarian, humorist to the core, and a physician par excellence. By about 7:30 or so, I rang up my doctor, Dr. Ramani. In the absence of Dr. Lakshmipathy, I used to consult Dr. Ramani, who is a prominent physician based in Coimbatore, and reminded him that your professor is giving a talk, please don't miss. I'm really thankful to Dr. Ramani for sparing his valuable time to come and join us. Dr. Lakshmipathy spoke of chemotherapy. We all have heard about chemotherapy. Chemotherapy, crematorium, what really wonderful. Chemotherapy connects chemotherapy. Then reading habit. The elderly people should develop reading habit. The teachers, the colleges cease to be readers. They have stopped reading. Reading is a good habit for people of any age. The topic is how to be happy in old age. Younger age, we are very happy. In old age, we become unhappy. So this talk, I would like Dr. Lakshmipathy to publish this topic in a small booklet form and distribute. I request my good friend Dr. Mohan Prasad to take up the work. It will be very useful and to send to all geriatricians. For even information, I tell that Dr. Lakshmipathy is an FRCP in geriatrics. And then bathroom, he says that we want to avoid falling down, put mat in bathroom. Then I would like to close my vote of thanks. I am really grateful and for the members of Dr. VGM's family, his two doctors, both medical gastroenterologists, and his son-in-law, Dr. Vamsi. I would like to put forth some quotable quotes and conclude my talk. I happened to read one of his books 2 days back, that is Laughing Through Medical Specialties. Wonderful book, Laughing Through Medical Specialties. Medical book to leave doctors giggling and patients chuckling. What a fine language. A medical book to leave doctors giggling. And leave and patient chuckling. Chuckling na ullukulla sirikkirathu. ஒன்னுக்குள்ள முட்டாள்தனமா சிரிக்கிறது, உள்ளுக்குள்ள சிரிக்கிறது. பாரதியார் சொன்னார், தெளிவுரையே அறிந்திடுதல், தெளிவுதர மொழிந்திடுதல். டாக்டர் லட்சுமதி டாக் வந்து தெளிவுதர அறிந்திடுதல், தெளிவுதர மொழிந்திடுதல். பாரதியாருடைய கொட்டேஷன். எல்லாத்திலும் தெளிவு, ஒரு கிளாரிட்டி. He does with clinical precision. சில கொட்டேஷன் மட்டும் சொல்றேன். Chloroform has done a lot of mischief. It has enabled every fool to be a surgeon. What a fine humor. Chloroform has done a lot of mischief. It has enabled every fool to be a surgeon. Cardiology. The trouble with heart attack is that the first symptom is hard to deal with. Sudden death. That's the first symptom. In your dentistry, may all your teeth fall except the one that aches. Wonderful. Then family practice. Go to a family physician. He treats my family and I support his. All very good humor. So this particular gastroenterology, that is specialty Dr. Mohan Prasad, he states about that, shall I refuse dinner? Shall I refuse dinner because I do not fully understand the process of digestion? அவருக்கு வந்து இந்த டைஜஷன் என்னன்னு தெரியாதனால டின்னர் எனக்கு வேண்டாங்கிற அருமையான ஒரு கொட்டேஷன் அது. இதெல்லாம் கோட்டபிள் கோட்ஸ். ரொம்ப மிக மகிழ்ச்சியான ஒரு மாலை நேரத்தை டாக்டர் லட்சுமிபதி வழங்கினார்கள். இது வந்து உண்மையிலேயே ஒரு மெமரபிள் டாக், ரியலி a memorable talk. I would like to conclude by saying that truth is very important for everything. Truth, உண்மை, வாய்மை. எல்லாருக்கும் வந்து we are endowed with two things. One is Tirukkural and Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is spoken by the supreme personality of Godhead. Absolute truth is the backbone of Bhagavad Gita. There is one doctor, my friend, Dr. Ramesh, who is a leading ophthalmologist in Karur. He has got a WhatsApp group for Tirukkural. Though I request all old age people or senior citizens, there are quite a few senior citizens homes in Coimbatore. Senior citizens home, don't say old age, we are all senior citizens. Senior citizens, I would request people to go through Tirukkural, Bhagavad Gita and things like that. The reading habit they should develop. So there is no retirement. Dr. Lakshmipathy has not retired. He is still young. He is 80 plus young. I don't say he is old. He looks his countenance is good and he looks always smiling. அவருடைய இதுல வந்து நான் போனேன் எங்க கிளினிக்ல, that is in RS Puram. I was a patient, Dr. Lakshmipathy some time back. He has stated, smiling is the second thing you can do with your lips. What a fine anecdote. Smiling is the best thing, second best thing you can do with your lips. Like that, Dr. Lakshmipathy treats patients with humor. He will never threaten people. He will never threaten people. So he has got all the good qualities of a doctor and also a humorist. Humorist of his caliber, quite very rare nowadays. Dr. Mohan Prasad, I have to thank Dr. Mohan Prasad for taking all pains to invite Dr. Lakshmipathy to give a talk, an eloquent talk. The talk was really entertaining, enlightening, and very informative. With these words, I would like to conclude my talk. As Dr. Mohan Prasad stated, the next talk will be by சிந்தனை கவிஞர் கவிதாசன் உடைய அருமையான பேச்சு 30 நடக்க போகும். எல்லாரையும் வருக வருக என்று வரவேற்கின்றேன். இணையத்தில் இணைந்திருக்கின்ற டாக்டர் பிரதீப், FRCP, 3 FRCP, neurologist in Palakkad, Dr. Rega, Dr. Ramani, all those, Ramani I am thanking him again because practice பாதி போட்டு வந்திருக்காரு அவரு. He is my, whenever I get some doubt, I used to consult him in the absence of Dr. Lakshmipathy. So I conclude my stating, எங்கள் வாழ்வும் எங்கள் வளமும் மங்காத தமிழ் என்று சங்கே முழங்கு. Thank you very much.
And I'm, sir, you quoted Dr. GL's use of lips as a second best thing. I hope the youngsters don't, think about the first best use. But anyway, I'm very, very happy to have joined in this meeting. And thank you so much. And wish you all a very, very happy and prosperous New Year. So we'll catch up. Thank you so much, Professor GL sir, our beloved teacher. And thank you so much, Dr. Ramani sir. And thank you very much, Professor Rajaram sir. So thank you, viewers. Please join us next month. Thank you. Bye-bye. God bless. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, sir. Happy New Year. Bye.
Thank you, sir. We are ending the streaming.
Thanks.
Please.